My name is Mia. Standing on the stage of the city's annual community awards ceremony, I'm holding a plaque in my hand. The applause fills the room, and I can feel the eyes of the audience on me. In the back of the room, I spot my father, stiff as a statue, and my sister, clinging to his arm like a life raft. Their presence doesn't scare me anymore. Instead, it's a reminder of how far I've come. Let me take you back to the beginning. I grew up in a small, close-knit community. My family was well known. My father, Mr. Thompson, was a respected businessman in town, and my mother, Mrs. Thompson, was involved in local charity work. On the surface, we were the picture-perfect family. But behind closed doors, it was a different story. My sister, Lily, was 2 years older than me. She always seemed to be in my father's good graces, while I was the constant target of his anger. My father was a man with a short temper. He was used to getting his way, and any sign of opposition from me was met with a storm of rage. One evening, I made the mistake of speaking up about something I believed in at the dinner table. My father's face turned red, and his breathing became ragged. "You never listen, always causing trouble," he roared. Before I knew it, he grabbed my hair and yanked me to the floor. The cold tiles pressed against my cheek, and a mix of dust and pain filled my senses. Lily, instead of coming to my aid, laughed. It was a cruel, heartless laugh. She held her phone as if she was recording a comedy show, not her sister being abused. "Pathetic," she hissed. Just then, Dr. Harris, our neighbor and the town's only doctor, came in. He was a kind-looking man in his 50s, with a gentle smile that usually put people at ease. That night, he had come because my mother had mentioned to him earlier that I was being difficult again. As soon as his eyes landed on me, on the red handprint on my cheek and the strands of hair still in my father's fist, his smile vanished. His hands hovered in the air, and he stared for a long time. "This," he stammered, his voice thin and raw. My sister's laughter stopped abruptly. My father tried to play it off, his voice oily. "She's just being dramatic. Kids these days, you know? She'll be fine." But Dr. Harris wasn't fooled. His gaze flicked between me and his phone in his pocket. Then, he made a decision. He pulled out his phone. For the first time in my life, someone looked at my father with suspicion instead of fear. My father's voice cracked. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Dr. Harris didn't flinch. His thumb slid across the screen, and he said in a low, steady voice, "Yes, I need to report suspected abuse. Immediate intervention required." Time seemed to stand still. My father's rage froze, and my sister's smirk faded. For the first time, lying on that cold floor, I felt a glimmer of hope. The doctor crouched beside me and whispered, "You're safe." The word safe felt foreign to me. I'd never known safety in this house. Then, the headlights of the police car cut through the curtains. The front door opened, and 2 officers stepped in. My father puffed up, shouting about rights and family discipline, but his words were hollow. One of the officers asked me gently for my name, age, and if I felt safe. For years, I'd kept silent, using it as armor. But now, I found the courage to say, "I don't feel safe." Those 4 words changed everything. The atmosphere in the house shifted. My father slammed his fist against the wall, calling me a liar and ungrateful. My sister tried to come up with excuses, saying I probably hit myself for attention. But Dr. Harris turned to her and said quietly, "Do you hear yourself? What you're saying doesn't make sense." The officer asked if this had happened before. Memories of all the hidden bruises, the excuses at school, and the self-deception came flooding back. "Yes," I whispered, "many times." The younger officer then asked me if I wanted to go with them to a safe place. The word safe again. It was like a sweet taste after years of bitterness. Looking at my father's red, angry face and my sister's nervous eyes, I realized they were afraid of losing control. I'll go, I said firmly. The officers guided me outside. The night air was like a breath of fresh air after being underwater for years. As we drove away, I saw Dr. Harris on the porch, giving me a small nod of recognition. At the police station, they treated me gently. They offered me water and let me sit in a quiet room. An officer asked me if I wanted to press charges. For so long, my father had controlled my story, but now, I took the pen in my hand and wrote the truth. Weeks passed, filled with paperwork, appointments, and whispered conversations. Then came the courtroom. My father sat across the aisle in a suit that didn't fit him well, trying to hide his anger. My sister sat beside him, her confidence cracking. When I took the stand, I told my story piece by piece. Every time my father tried to interrupt, the judge's gavel struck. Then, Dr. Harris took the stand. He described the scene that night, the fear, and the abnormal behavior. His voice was steady and clear. It wasn't normal. It wasn't safe, and it wasn't the first time, he said. The ruling came. It wasn't a big, dramatic event, just words on paper, restraining orders, financial consequences, mandated counseling, and custody shifts. But to me, those words were like a victory. Outside the courtroom, cameras flashed. My father pushed through the crowd, his face twisted in anger. People looked at him differently now, not as a powerful man but as an abuser. My sister tried to defend my father online, posting smiling pictures and perfect captions. But people remembered the way she laughed at my pain. The comments on her posts sided with the truth. One night, I found a video of me walking out of the courthouse on my phone. The caption read, "She chose silence for years. Tonight, she chose herself." It spread like wildfire. Women I'd never met sent me messages, saying they'd left their abusers and pressed charges because of me. The irony wasn't lost on me. My father had always tried to keep me small and voiceless, but now, my voice was louder than ever. His name, which was once feared, was now pitted and mocked. And then came the community awards ceremony. I almost declined the invitation. The thought of standing in front of so many people was terrifying. But I remembered all the pain, all the times I'd been silenced. So, I said yes. On the night of the ceremony, I wore a simple black dress. As I walked to the stage, I saw my father and sister in the back. The host handed me the plaque, and the applause thundered. When I got the microphone, I spoke from the heart. I was taught that silence keeps peace, but silence nearly destroyed me. Tonight, I'm here because I stopped being quiet. Abuse doesn't end when the bruises fade. It ends when we stop protecting it. The room erupted in a standing ovation. My father's face twisted in helpless rage, and my sister shrank beside him. After the ceremony, I stepped outside. The quiet night air surrounded me. I saw my father and sister by the parking lot. They were waiting for me to go back, to beg for forgiveness. But I didn't. Instead, people came up to me, congratulating me, shaking my hand. Months passed. My father tried to call, and my sister sent guilt-laced messages. I didn't block them, but I didn't reply either. Their words sat unread, and my silence became a powerful statement. I moved into a new apartment, with white walls and wide windows. I kept the award on a shelf as a reminder. Survival is louder than abuse. One morning, as I sipped my coffee by the window, my phone buzzed with another desperate text. I turned it face down and smiled. I finally knew the answer to the question, what happens when silence is louder than revenge? It happens in every breath I take without fear, in every step forward, and in every moment they sit in their own shadows, waiting for a response that will never come.